Sorry if my hair looks a little disheveled. I curled it over 12 hours ago. Also, I don't know about the pink lipstick. I feel like I keep trying to make fetch happen and it's not happening. But hey, I had so much fun last time. Let's do this again. It's time to find out if more people are assholes. Hey babes! Welcome back to Moonbae Crochet. It is Brandy, and today I wanted to read some more r/am I the asshole stories for you guys because I had such a blast doing this last time, so I just thought, why not? Let me dig up a few more, see how you guys like this, and yeah. I just got back from spending some time with my bestie and her new baby. I mean, not new baby, he's like 8 months old, but new to me because we live so far apart, so I rarely get to see her and him now. So it was really nice. We had some bestie time. We ate some pizza. We had some laughs. We watched Wicked. Oh. So anyways, I don't even like the song that much, but I'm going to be singing Dancing Through Life for the foreseeable future. Anyway, real quick introduction in case you're new here. My name is Brandy. I do a lot of crochet content, crochet chit chat with me type videos, sharing patterns that I love, sometimes just reading r/am I the asshole stories that pertain to crochet, of course. And if you're interested in seeing like more personal style videos from me that don't have to do with crochet, you can go ahead and check out my other channel as well at Saber Moon. I haven't really been posting on there yet, but I plan to. Anyway, let's hop right into this first story. All right, the first story we're reading today is Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Crochet Something for My Mom? Let us see. I, 16 female, have been crocheting for around 3 years now, and every year I make my mom, 52 female, a crochet gift for her birthday. The first year, I gave her a hat, and she gave it to a family member as it wasn't what she wanted. And last year, I ended up giving her a blanket, which was supposed to be a cardigan, but I had to change as I decided a cardigan was above my skill level. I ended up giving that to her on Christmas instead, as I was quite busy that year and was going through some mental health issues, which she knows about. Every time she gets her gift, she complains about something like, "Oh, I wanted something else," or "This is not the color that I wanted." I'm already annoyed. So this year, she asked me, "Can you make me a sweater?" I told her no, as a sweater is a time-consuming project. I struggle with making stuff in other people's measurements, and she had complained each time I made her something. I offered her that I could make her something else instead, but she refused, saying, "I want you to make me something I can wear." She was also saying that it would be less time-consuming if I made the sweater in a looser knit, which is not the case. I was telling her that I would be happy making her anything else, but a sweater was just too complicated for me, or if she only wanted the sweater, I would not make anything for her at all. I understand her wanting something she could wear, but I simply do not believe I would be able to make one for her. Am I the asshole? Okay. Well, this is a very simple, cut and dry story. You're not an asshole, first of all, for just, you're upfront about it. I think it would be worse if you said, yes, I can definitely make you a sweater, and then you don't end up coming through. Like, you're being true to yourself, you're being upfront and honest, and there's nothing wrong with that. Especially when you've tried to surprise her with things before and she's giving it away to somebody else or complaining that she doesn't like the color or something. Like, no, I don't vibe with that. And that is exactly why I always say not everybody in your life deserves crochet gifts, okay? Not everybody in your life deserves crochet gifts. I will scream it from the rooftops. It's just not worth it for people who won't appreciate it or just like won't even care about it. Like give it away to somebody else. Like, no, I put my heart and soul in this for you. I didn't want you to go give it to somebody else. So no, I would say you're definitely not the asshole, first of all. And I'm not gonna go as far as to say that your mom is the asshole, but it's just definitely like she's one of those people that you can just cross off of the crochet gift list. Let's see what people have to say. Not the asshole. To be honest, if someone complained after I handmade them something even once, I wouldn't be getting them gifts again. Maybe a gift card or something. It is a tumultuous task to create something like that, and she is not obligated to it, nor does she have any right to demand it. That's before even considering she on your hard work last time you did it. Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's not cool. Someone else said, not the asshole. My kid has made me things, and they wouldn't be worth any more to me had they been spun from gold. No way in hell would I ever give any of it away. Her actions have proven that she doesn't appreciate your efforts, so there's no real motivation at all to give her any more of your effort. You gonna make this sweater and then she'll just give it away because the knit is too tight or she doesn't like the color, etc. I agree. Not the asshole, and I think you deserve better. And you know what? Just stick to crocheting for people that you know are gonna love it, or just crocheting for yourself because it's just a fun hobby. But your mom doesn't need anything else from you. Nope. Alrighty, next story. This one is titled Two Things. Am I the asshole? Question mark. And I need advice. So, I used to crochet a lot when I was younger. I put it down for several years and decided to pick it back up. It was like riding a bike for me. I was so excited that I hadn't lost the memory of how to do the stitches or turning chains or yarn tension and blah blah blah. You get it. Point is, I was so ready to jump back into it and not have to start completely over from scratch. I learned a new stitch, that pesky little bobble stitch. My mom and sister were at my house the night I learned it. I did a small swatch and was excited because it was super cute, though my hands were cramping halfway into it, lol. Anyway, my mom immediately said, "Oh, that's so pretty. You should make me a blanket out of that." Sorry. And then followed with, "And a Christmas blanket for next year. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face." I don't have the heart to say no to my mom to a fault. Not that it was really a question. Or my sister. And here is where she comes in. She wanted me to make her a blanket out of granny squares. By the way, I do not like making these, lol. So I said, okay. I guess I'm an idiot because I didn't want my dad to feel left out. Oh no. He didn't ask for one, so I thought I'd do it in my own pattern, my own way. I've had more fun doing the blanket for my dad than I have my sister's or my mom's. So I'm further along in my dad's than either of theirs, and he didn't even ask for one. Am I the asshole for that? I had just picked crocheting back up and was immediately expected to do 3 blankets in stitches/patterns that I don't even like doing. I feel guilty that I'm further along on my dad's. Should I? Also, need advice on how to stay or get motivated to finish theirs. Theirs feel like more of a job than a hobby that I love doing. Disclaimer, I know that I took on too much. None of them are on a time schedule, but I also don't want to be working on these things for 5 years before I finish them. Advice on how to do that and not lose my love for crocheting is greatly appreciated. Wow. All right, well, this comes down to a little thing I like to call crojo. Oh. I would say definitely you are not the asshole. Personally, I don't really think that there is an asshole in this situation. I mean, like, I know technically it was a little bit presumptuous of your mom and your sister to be like, "Oh, you should make me a blanket in this and whatever." I don't really like it when people do that kind of stuff. On one hand, it's like, you know, if you like to do crochet as like a business type of thing and somebody's like, "Oh my gosh, that is such a pretty stitch. If you could make me a blanket in that, I would pay you, you know, how much would you ask for something like that?" Something like that, right? But when people are just like, "Oh, you should make me that," just because you know how to make it and they're expecting not to give you anything in return for it, I don't love it when people do that. My family and loved ones personally are not like that. They always offer to pay me for like the work that I do because they understand it is time consuming and it is like it's a job essentially. So yeah, I mean, I guess if anybody's going to consider anybody assholes in this situation, it would be your mom or your sister. But I don't think that. But you're definitely not an asshole either just because you're further along in your dad's blanket because, you know, you picked crochet back up and it's something that you're really passionate about and you're doing stitches like your mom and your sister asked you to make a certain type of thing that you yourself would not have just started doing because you have fun doing it. It's more like a chore, right? I completely understand why you're further along in your dad's. It's because you're having fun doing it and it feels fun and it's like nice. So I don't think you should feel like an asshole over that. As far as advice, like to get the motivation to finish there so that it's not some drawn out process that you have to deal with, honestly, I don't know. I'm the queen of procrastination. This was also posted like a year ago, so it's not like this person actually needs my advice. Hopefully they were able to finish, but I guess my best advice to anybody out there who's struggling to finish a project because it's just been sitting there, I would say just commit yourself to a little bit each day because little drops of water make up the mighty ocean, okay? I know I read that somewhere, don't know where. But basically, if you commit yourself to, okay, I'm just gonna do 2 rows of this bobble stitch blanket tonight, right? and you do that every night, let's say 5 days out of the week, okay? You could have the weekend off. Then by the end of the week, you got 10 rows farther. You know, it adds up over time. Even if you were to just do 1 row a night because that's all you could stomach, you still have 5 rows by the end of the week. And like for the granny square one, for example, be like, okay, I'm just going to do 1 granny square. And yeah, it might not seem like a lot, but by the end of the week, well, now I have 5 granny squares done. So it's kind of like, just treat it as if it's one of your daily chores, right? It might not be fun to think of it that way, but if you really want to just get this done and you don't want it sitting there forever, taunting you, you know, while you work on other more fun things, I would say just commit yourself to a little bit. The little chunks will add up over time, trust me. And try to make it enjoyable. Get yourself a little beverage that you like, okay? Get yourself some little snacks to have on the side. Throw on your favorite comfort show to make it a more fun ambiance. That's the best advice I got for something like that. Let's see what people have to say. This person says, I love to crochet and I make things for people all the time, but I established some basic rules for asks from the get-go that I suggest you do too. Number 1, it's done when it's done, which might be never. 2, if you really, really want something specific, you have to buy the yarn for it. I'll send you a link. No, you buying the yarn will not guarantee that I work on the thing immediately or exclusively. See rule number 1. 3, I crochet what I want when I want. Do not ask me when it will be finished. See rule number 1. 4, I do not accept money. I crochet out of love only. You cannot pay me to go faster. See rule number 1. You can pay me to go faster though. And 5, if you want it by a specific date/event, buy one in a store. I promise nothing. See rule number 1. Anytime someone asks me to make them something, I am very blunt about all of the above. My family is quite used to it by now and do not give me any trouble. They know I am basically a troll hiding under a pile of yarn cakes, occasionally spitting out the sweaters on nobody's schedule, and that's fine. I like that. That's cute. Someone else said, sorry to be rude, but I think you need to grow a spine a little bit. Making an entire blanket for a person just because you feel kind of uncomfy saying no is totally messed up for me. A blanket is a messed up amount of work, and I wouldn't even bother making a plushie for someone if I didn't feel completely confident that I want to do it. And they didn't even ask you casually. Will they even be grateful once it's finished, or will they order you to make other ones for their friends and their friends? Are they even paying for the materials? Come on. Well, I mean, I understand where this person's coming from, but also it's kind of like, sometimes it's hard. People are people pleasers, okay? I'm a recovering people pleaser, okay? It's hard for me to say no to certain people because, like, you know, it's like, I love this person and, you know, I don't think that they're not going to be grateful for the work that the person does. I just think, you know, I don't really have a rebuttal, but I understand why the original poster is a little bit apprehensive to say like no to their mom, because it's kind of like, you know, I don't know, it's my mom, like of course I want to make my mom happy, but yeah, I understand what they're saying, but just it's not that easy sometimes to say no, okay? All right, one last story for today and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for declining to fix the errors I made in a blanket I crocheted for someone and taking it back instead? Interesante. Let's go. I made a blanket for my sister-in-law, Amanda. I was able to give it to her last weekend. She'd asked for it in certain colors. I didn't have any other projects on my to-do list, so I was happy to make it for her. I had most of the colors already too, so it worked out. When I gave it to her, she was excited and she started to look it over. I figured it was to see how it was put together since she doesn't crochet. After a little bit, she said that she loved the blanket, but she couldn't help but notice some of the little mistakes I had made along the way. I asked her what she meant, and she pointed out some things, like I'd accidentally done 1 row of striping instead of 3 for one section. I'd switched to the wrong color and threw off a pattern at some point, etc. She handed it back to me and told me that she loves my progress with it and couldn't wait to see the finished project. I told her that it was finished. She looked down at it and said that it wasn't done until it was perfect, and I'd made several mistakes that I could easily go back to correct. I was honestly dumbfounded by this. I hate the way perfectionists try to force their quirks onto others. I made this blanket for her for free out of my own free time because I love her. I told her that. She said she knows and she loves me for it, but that she wouldn't be able to use it because she wouldn't be able to focus on anything but the mistakes. I said whatever and took the blanket back and said that if she doesn't want it, I'll keep it. She looked surprised and said that she does want it. She just wants my best work and not something half-assed. I told her that if she thinks me crocheting a whole fucking blanket and making minimal errors is half-assing it, I'd rather just keep the blanket. She's so upset with me and told me I was acting ridiculous and that it wouldn't take me long to fix. If you know anything about crochet, you know that if I make an error on row 36 of a 1115 row blanket, that's essentially starting over again. Anyway, I come to you all, lol. Am I the asshole? Absolutely not. As a perfectionist myself personally, like, I would probably be bothered by these types of things, and so as I'm doing it, I probably would have been checking and like going back to fix it. However, I understand that not everybody's like that, and I will acknowledge most people will not notice mistakes in crochet unless it's the crocheter, and the crocheter themselves is like, you know, kind of a perfectionist person. But I think you're right. She's basically asking you to start this thing over from scratch. Yeah. And all things considered, a free blanket with this many rows in it and stuff that you're just doing out of the kindness of your heart because you have free time and all that. Personally, I wouldn't bother going back to fix it. Like, that is way too much work that you're doing for free. And honestly, I just think it's a little, like, as a perfectionist, I am still kind of baffled at the whole, like, no, I'm not going to be able to use it because all I'm going to be focusing on is the mistakes. Well, you know, how about you learn to crochet and you do it yourself then? Because no. Let's see what people have to say. This person says, you aren't being ridiculous. She definitely was. Super not the asshole. What she might be missing is that there is no fixing an error like you described in crochet. You either start over or pull out the stitches back to the point of the error or to resume there. She couldn't be a gracious recipient of a heartfelt, thoughtful, homemade gift, and that shows you something about her. If she requires perfection, that's pretty incompatible with homemade, not to mention super dismissive and presumptuous of her not to prioritize the hard work and hours that went into making it. Given that she's a member of your family and you probably don't want a long-term rift, I would hold my ground but try to diffuse it. Just explain repeatedly if necessary that it's too bad your gift didn't work out, but no hard feelings. Do not feel forced to start again or to fix the blanket in any way. Try not to create drama or judgment over her for it. Believe me, her response to this whole thing stands alone. And don't offer to make her anything in the future, that's for sure. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. Someone else said, I knit. I know an error I made in row 12 isn't fixable unless I undo everything above row 12 and reknit it. Obviously impossible if the work has already been cast off. Your next gift to Miss It Has to Be Perfect should be a how to crochet book, a couple of different sized hooks, and a nice selection of yarn. Or maybe you could get an actual kit, ? Give it to her with great excitement and gush about how you're looking forward to spending time crocheting with her and how thrilled you'll be when she can match you stitch for stitch. Inform her how satisfying it will be for her to crochet her own perfect blanket to her own standards. Lucky Amanda. Not the asshole, and I really admire anyone who can crochet. Well, first of all, person who wrote that comment, I really admire people who can knit because the reason I love crochet so much is because it's so forgiving and you can undo it if you want to. Knitting intimidates the hell out of me. I don't know how you guys do it, but Godspeed. But yeah, I completely agree with that comment. That was like so well written. I will say, like, if she is going to demand such a perfectionist standard of crochet project, which is like impossible to achieve, by the way, there's always going to be little errors, and yes, sometimes they might be so little that only the crocheter notices, and sometimes there's weirdos out there who do catch them even though they don't crochet, so whatever. She just needs to learn how to do it herself. If you want cute crochet items and they need to be perfect up to your standards, girl, grab a hook, let's go. So I think that is a very, very good idea. Get her a how to crochet book. I would love that. I would love an update to this story that tells me that she got Amanda that book. She might take offense to it, but honestly, I think that she might get a lot of use out of it. Anyway, this was fun. This came out shorter than my last one did, which is cool. I felt very chatty tonight. I hope I wasn't talking too fast. But yes, thank you all so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate you being here as always. I am ready to shower and go to bed. I wish I didn't have to work tomorrow. I am so tired. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day, week, month, night, whatever you're having. Please enjoy yourself. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Mwah. Bye.